Hey, this is Will Knight, and we are back with another podcast, but this time we are coming from Bogotá, Colombia. And today my co-host is
Rafael.
Rafael. How's it going today?
Great. We're having a good time after our food tour.
Yes, and the noise you hear, we're in a coffee shop right now, so we're going to have to raise our voices up a little bit, but we just completed a food tour, and it was absolutely delicious. I'm hungry. I want to go to my lazy boy and sleep. So for someone visiting Bogotá, what's for the first time, what are some of the three foods they absolutely must try?
Well, if you come to Bogotá, there's a must, and that must is ajiaco. Ajiaco is the soup that everybody must try in here. If you come to Bogotá and you don't try this soup, it's like you have never been here. So you have to try. This is a must, ajiaco. Something else you can try, there's going to be maybe lechona. Lechona is a preparation with pork. We didn't have it today during the tour, but it's a very popular one. It's pork in some, the original one is without rice, but in Bogotá we put rice to everything, so our local version is with a little bit of rice. And they cook it with the skin of the pork. They cook it for several hours. So it's a very nice preparation. Actually, it was picked as the best preparation with pork a couple of years ago in some kind of ranking of the world. So it's a very good one. You have to try that one. And maybe tamales. Tamales is also a very popular thing. It's not from Bogotá exactly, but it's something you find everywhere in our city. Tamales is also a very good thing for the breakfast or for the lunch as well.
Okay, so you were raised in Bogotá or from Bogotá?
I am from Bogotá and I was born and raised in Bogotá.
Okay, so do you prefer Medellin or Bogotá?
Of course, I prefer Bogotá. Medellin is a beautiful city, and we have this fight. In every country, we find this fight between cities. A huge one in Colombia is Medellin, Bogotá.
And Bogotá always was.
And for the locals, yeah, we win. But in Medellin, of course, they think they win.
Okay. How does Bogotá food scene differ from other cities in Colombia?
The thing is that Bogotá is a big city and we have everything. We don't have only the local cuisine. You're going to find things from all over the country. So you find snacks, you find main courses, you find a lot of fancy restaurants, different styles, national, international. So you're going to find many different things. So here you find like an overview of everything you find all over the country. It's like a summary of everything in here.
So you prefer coffee or hot chocolate?
Whoa, yeah, that's a hard one. I love coffee, but there are moments when I prefer hot chocolate. I prefer to have breakfast with hot chocolate, for example.
Okay. What traditions does Colombian, I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. What are some of the famous dishes Colombians make that tourists need to try? Can't say empanadas.
Maybe arepas.
Okay.
Arepas could be like a very big thing in here. And we have this huge fight with Venezuela, for example, because of the arepas, because they say they invented them. And in Colombia, we're like, no, sorry, we invented them. So we have a lot of different types in here. That could be a good one.
Do you prefer sweet or savory?
I prefer sweet. I love sweet.
If you have one day to eat something and you're coming through Bogotá and you're like overnight, long flight, what's the first thing you want to eat?
The first thing I want to eat. Maybe the soup, the ajiaco is something I would love to have. If you're coming, you don't know, that's a main meal. But if you're coming early in the morning, maybe some type of bread. We have the pan de yucas, pan de bonos. Those are good with the coffee. That's going to be awesome. Okay. So for a snack, those kind of breads, big meal, ajiaco, the soup.
How does Bogotá food scene change over the last decade?
It's changing a lot. Some years ago, being a chef in Colombia in general was not a good thing. It was like a lower kind of job. Now the chefs and the cooks are getting more popular. You're going to find really nice restaurants. You're going to find really good chefs from the country in big rankings around the whole world. So the scene is getting bigger, is getting stronger. We have more variety all over the city. So it's getting a lot more popular in general in Bogotá.
You know, when we were walking around today, I noticed we started by the Gold Museum.
Yep.
And then you brought us towards the center, I would say where the Justice, Supreme Justice Square.
Yep, the main square.
The main square.
Plaza de Bolívar. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, what is it?
Plaza de Bolívar.
Okay, so is that the new area where people come to attract, or is there different areas in Bogotá where that's hidden gems?
There are different areas. the main square is a traditional one. It's a popular one because here in the center of the city we have a lot of the museums, a lot of the history of the city, and you find some smaller things also inside of the neighborhoods. But if you go north, you're gonna find areas like Chapinero, Usaquén. If you go to the west, you find places like the Botanical Garden. So there are many small neighborhoods or smaller neighborhoods around the city where you can find very nice things as well. But you have to come to the center of the city, to La Candelaria.
Talk to me about street vendors.
Street vendors, you find them everywhere. The food from the street vendors is good in some cases, but you have to be careful. Some places you don't know how clean you can say they are, but you're gonna find some really good street food all over the city.
So, where do you live in Bogotá? What area do you live in Bogotá?
I live in Chapinero. It's like northeast from the city. It's like 30 minutes away from the center, from the old town.
And what traditional dishes does that area serve, or different traditional areas serve different foods?
There are some areas. Some years ago, the city used to have like a tradition of having a specific product in a specific area. So there's an area where you find only a lot of restaurants of lechona, for example. In some other areas, you find only tamales. But now it's more like a mixed thing. So everywhere you go, you find a bit of everything. In Chapinero, where I live, you're gonna find some international food. You're gonna find street food. You're gonna find fast food, hamburgers, arepas, very elaborated meals, international restaurants, Italian restaurants. You find a mix of everything. So it's not anymore just like one specific area is to eat and a specific type of food.
So, in the first stop we went to a empanada.
Yep.
Talk to me about that, because a lot of people believe that empanadas were made in different countries. I'm not going to say these countries. Mexico think they made empanadas.
Yeah.
Venezuelans think they made empanadas. Americans think they invented empanadas.
You find local versions everywhere you go. In every Latin American country, you're gonna find their local version of the empanadas, but they are not from here. They are, as I told you during the tour, they are coming from the Middle East. In the Middle East, they used to make a lot of different types of meat, and when they were going to travel for a long time, one way to keep that meat fresh for longer was to have this kind of empanada. So they were taking a bread, they were putting some beef inside, closing to make like a little ball, and they were baking that. So they were traveling a lot. Eventually they went to Spain. In Spain they took a lot of the recipes and they transformed them. And when Spain came to America, they brought the recipe. So in every Latin American country, you find their local version, and you find people saying that they invented the empanadas. But they're not from here, or Argentina, or Mexico. They're not from here. They're really far away from here, and we have our own local versions.
So, are there any neighborhoods in Bogotá that have their own food? Like for instance, if you come to the United States, let's say Chicago, you go to Italian, the Italian side is the west side. You know, they have specific, or they have soul food. Is there different areas, or is there one area in Bogotá that has different types of foods, or is this the same?
We have some specific neighborhoods that are known because they have a lot of gastronomy. So there's an area that is in Chapinero as well, that's called the G Zone, the Zona G. In there you find some of the very fancy restaurants with a lot of different types of food, Colombian and international food. But there are neighborhoods as La Macarena. La Macarena is closer to the center of the city. They have smaller restaurants, also different types, but it's more like cozy places. They are smaller places, you find a lot of different things. If you go to Usaquén, Usaquén is known because of the flea market, but also around Usaquén, that was a little town many years ago. They still have the main square, and around that square they have a lot of restaurants from different types of food.
So tell me about your favorite foods.
My favorite foods, well, as I mentioned before, ajiaco, I love it. If we talk about traditional Colombian foods, my favorite meal is the ajiaco. That soup, I love it, with the chicken, the corn, the potato. I love potato. So that's my traditional Colombian meal, my favorite one. But I love different types of bread, like the pan de yuca, sweets. Well, we have a lot of different types of cakes, so I love those cakes.
I've been eating my way through Bogotá through desserts.
Yeah, in here you can have some good cakes as well. So maybe those are like my favorite, the soup and some of the sweet cakes.
Okay, so you asked us, our group downstairs, what is your favorite midnight snack?
Midnight snack.
Yeah, you get up late at night, you're like coming home, you're late, you just woke up from a nap before you go to bed. What's your late night snack?
Well, could be like some kind of a sandwich maybe with, well, if I have arepas, but I don't always have the arepas because usually you get a package of 5, 6 and you eat it frequently. So usually you don't have enough. So when you're late at night, you can make some kind of a sandwich with chicken or cheese. Of course, we put cheese to everything in Colombia, so it must have cheese. But if you have the chance to make an arepa, could be just arepa with a little bit of butter, salt, a piece of jam over it, and that's it. So it could be similar somehow to a sandwich as well.
So tell our audience about yourself.
About myself, well, my name is Rafael Daza. I am from Bogotá, born and raised in Bogotá. I'm a tour guide here in Colombia since 2016. Before that, I was working with many different things. But in 16, it was a very interesting moment for tourism in Colombia, and I decided to start leading bike tours. So after that, I realized to be a certified guide in Colombia, you have to study. So I made all that career 2 years and a half. And during that process, I was meeting a lot of people and meeting a lot of different things related with, or people related with tourism. And well, it was an interesting thing. So initially it was like a temporary activity, but then I realized how interesting it could be. And working with people from all over the world is a very interesting experience. It's almost like traveling without traveling, because you know people from all over the world, different cultures, different types of food. But at the end, you realize we are not as different as we think we are. So it's a very interesting experience.
So tell me one thing that bugs you about tourists. I'm sure you have many stories.
Yeah, you have some. I usually have fun. The kind of tourists I work with, most of the time they are nice. People are, like in your case, you are traveling maybe for vacations, you're trying to rest. So most of the people are happy. But you find some tourists, they travel and they don't want to travel. It's like they are forced to. So they arrive and they like nothing. They don't like the food. They don't like the culture. They don't like the people. They don't like the traffic. So when they are in that, they are having like a bad attitude. It's not that nice. But in general, people are very kind and they want to know and taste a lot of different things.
Do you find that some tourists come to Bogota and don't want to try, like, they just want a hamburger and hot dogs?
Yeah, in some cases they are. You find some people like that, but I think people with more like restrictions and they don't want to try local things are Asians. Asians, they have their own food. Usually they travel a large group. They have their own tour leader. That tour leader is carrying even the rice inside of the bags. So they prepare everything. They go to a restaurant and they only get like a hot water to make their teas and things like that. But in general, most of the people, they want to try different things. Maybe not like the ants, as for example, the ants that we saw today, the big ass ants. Not everyone wants to try that. But in general, the Colombian food, they want to try, they want to taste.
I did not try any ants today. However, my buddy did buy a pack, so I may have to put one in like a scotch or a bourbon, and then I'll try it that way.
Here in Bogotá, the ants are not that common. They are a thing in Santander. Santander is northeast from where we are, and in there is a common thing. They have farms, they grow the ants, and when they are big enough, they take them out and they fry them. So it's a little bit cruel, but they fry them and they put a little bit of salt. So you can get that as a snack. It's normal. Some friends, they get together, they put ants inside of a pan with a little bit of butter, and they fry it again, and you eat it like that. A couple of beers, you're watching a football game.
It's just like
fight.
popcorn.
Yeah, it's like popcorn, and the flavor is similar. It's a mix between popcorn and peanuts, something like that. So that could be a normal thing in there. In here in Bogotá, it's more like for tourists, national and international tourists, but it's not something you find everywhere. You don't go to a supermarket to get ants, but they're a good thing. If you have the chance to try it, it's a good option.
All right, now, before we end this session, I have one question to ask you. If you have a piece of advice to pass on to tourists that's coming to Bogotá, what would that piece of advice be?
A piece of advice. Usually, Colombia is not having a very good image around the world. So people, when they arrive here, they are really worried. They are scared. They go, oh, everything is going to happen in here. In every corner, someone is going to try to rob me or something like that. Bogotá, well, we have a big background and we have a lot of bad stories from the 80s and the 90s. But in general, Bogotá is not different than any other big city in the world. if you compare what happens in here with what happens in New York, Chicago, in Rome, in different places, it's gonna be the same. You have to be careful with the pockets in private places.
Exactly.
But you can trust and you can walk around and you're gonna be fine. So, well, be careful with basic things, but in general, have fun. You're not going to be robbed in every corner, and you can try a lot of different things, a lot of different food. You're going to meet a lot of nice people, even when in cities like Medellin, they say that in Bogotá we are not kind. We are kind. If you need some help, people is going to help you. So trust a little, be careful, but you don't have to be worried all the time that you're going to have some bad experience, or you're going to have, or something bad is going to happen to you.
Yeah. Good. Well, you know something? I want to wrap this up. Why don't you give people where to find your tour guide, if they want to call you, or kind of like your Instagram, or where do you want people to find you at?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram as at Rafa Dazabe. Let me spell it, because I think in English it's going to be a little bit hard. So it's going to be RAFADAZAV at Rafa Dazabe. Or if you want to take a free tour like the one we took today, you can find us as Beyond Colombia. BeyondColombia.com is the website. So in there you find the different tours we have. Well, if you're lucky, you're going to be with me.
Yeah, that is luck.
You can check all the information in the website, or you can check my Instagram as Rafa Dazabe.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And that wraps it up for All About Nothing. And we'll see you guys somewhere, traveling somewhere, sometime. Talk to you guys later.
Okay, thank you.